I am on the cusp of greatness. If you take a look here, I have 12 battles left before I can get my hands on the shiny charm. I am so close. Just 12 more battles, and then I will have my hands on the shiny charm, which will not help a lot, but will be very useful to have when I am going for the rest of my alpha living decks. Can we move this over a bit so that white dot's not there the whole time distracting? So, not gonna lie, I'm starting to get paranoid. I'm starting to think this shiny is broken. Given how long it's been. You know, I still got 4 more shinies to get after this. And look at just how long Giratina has been taking, I should say. If I were to have done one of these every single day, it would have been over 3 weeks of hunting by now. So, a friend of mine has been addicted to playing Dispatch lately. I still have yet to play the game myself. I still have yet to really see anything from the game besides the very famous nip slip. The debate online between Blonde Blazer and Invisigal. I have not really seen any of the game yet. I want to... if I'm not going to play it myself, then... Well, actually, I should phrase that as, if I'm not going to play it on my own, then maybe play it here, but I'll have to see when that would even happen. 'Cause, you know, this... So we have a lot to talk about today. We have 4 shows to go over, 2 of them being the finale. And then, well, next time we have another finale to talk about. The timing just didn't line up that way, I guess. For some reason today, my mother's tooth started acting up. She woke up and the side of her face was swollen. She had a toothache all day. So, I don't know what happened there. She's gonna take tomorrow off, and who knows how long this is gonna last for. She went to the doctor. She got some antibiotics or painkillers, I think. It's that It's that weird thing where, my mom has a lot of like dental needs that just can't be fulfilled here for whatever reason. She goes to the dentist, she goes to several dentists, and they say that there's nothing they can do. However, my mother's sister says that, oh yeah, dentists are perfectly capable of doing what you need over here in Hong Kong and China. So a lot of times my mom is debating, do I fly all the way over there? Like her. Does she fly all the way over there just to get her teeth done? I mean, I think technically it is cheaper if you don't factor in the plane ticket. Like the actual cost itself for the operation. It's cheaper there. But, the plane ticket kind of outweighs the difference. So how is everyone today? We got 4 shows to talk about, so I really should just get into it. But give me a second. I'm kind of doing battles on the side, and that's kind of too much stimulation for my mind. Hold on, let's let this night end first, and then I'll talk about the shows. Because, a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Every ZA Royale, I average like 20 to 25 battles. Sometimes I don't make it to that much, but it's okay. Aside from grinding for the shiny charm, it's also great grinding for money, too. Sometimes when it's just about to turn from night to day and I have 24 wins, I just run around trying to find any sort of NPC and just run in front of them. Doesn't matter if they sneak up on me or not, if they get the advantage, just as long as the battle initiates. I have 25 wins under my belt, so I need 5 more battles, and then the shiny charm is mine. If only this Giratina would be shiny and be mine. Clearly the shiny charm in this game is broken as hell, because it sure ain't working. I've been scammed. The shiny charm ain't worth anything in this game. Part of me is very curious. If I were to count how many encounters I have right now, would it be over odds? Though I'm not about to sit through like, just shy of 50 hours of footage counting every encounter. No, thank you. So, this is how much money I just made. I wish I could say that in real life. This is how much I have now. Yeah, I had that much. I have like 5 mil. And I need a lot of money. Not only to buy all of the remaining Megastones, which I already have. I also need to buy all the clothing items in the game. You think that doesn't take a lot of money? Look at this. Look at this right here. I am 4 battles away. 4 battles away to the Shiny Charm. But that will have to wait till later, because I am going to stop this now. Put this aside. Because me doing resets here, talking about the shows, and doing the battles, that's too much. I can't focus. Okay, so 4 shows to talk about today. We have the Season 2 finale for Peacemaker, the Season 2 finale for Gen V, and then we have the newest episode of Welcome to Derry. This was a really good episode. And finally, what is the second last episode of Hazbin Hotel Season 2. We're almost done. We're almost done with this current batch of shows, and then take a wild guess what's next. I should probably look up the episode count for the next 2 shows as well. Because I didn't actually look into it just yet. Okay, the first one only has 8, and second one has 12. Alright, so let's begin. Peacemaker Season 2 finale. It kind of sucks that this seemingly is the last episode. We're probably not getting a Season 3. And if we are, we're not getting it anytime soon. I mean, Season 2 took, what, 3 years for us to get? Or was it 4? When did Peacemaker Season 1 come out? Nope, 3 years. Actually, 3.5. So, yeah, we had to wait 3.5 years for Peacemaker. And I imagine if we were to get a Season 3, it would probably take more than 3.5 years. Just because James Gunn has his hands busy with the Superman sequel and, you know, managing the rest of DC. Alright, so Peacemaker, this episode opens up with a flashback to 1 month ago. I almost said a year. 1 month ago, where Chris and Amelia are just out having drinks at Big Belly Burger. Not Big Bang Burger, Big Belly Burger. A staple burger joint in DC. After that, well, Amelia almost gets into a fight, but then Chris de-escalates it. They go for a walk down the pier, and then we see that there is a giant boat, yacht kind of vessel with a band performing. I think they were called the Nelson. I'm sorry, I don't know who any of these artists are. Chris really wants to go, but Amelia's just like, no, I don't want to. No, stop dragging me over. And throughout the season, we know that something happened between these two on a boat. On some sort of boat party. Some sort of boat get out. So we finally got to see what happened this entire season, what they've been hinting at. Although, we only find out later in the episode where this led to, because it kind of cuts off there for now. So, back in present day, we see Async explore the backrooms. I mean, we see Argus explore the trans-dimensional portal. It's like, I felt like I was watching Kane Pixel's backrooms. They were all even wearing hazmat suits too. It was completely just backrooms. So our characters wearing hazmat suits, they go into, well, they explore different dimensions. Majority of the doors are locked, which, by the way, supposedly there are 99 doors that lead to 99 alternate dimensions. That looked a lot more than 99 to me. That room, the wide, high-up shot, looked way more than 99 to me. So, one of the doors is unlocked. They go in, and it's a very beautiful, sweet, candy cane place. You know, there's a yellow brick road to follow. But then, oh no, some things are rustling in the grass. It's the entities. The entities are showing up. And then you get these tiny little, cutesy little monsters that just pile upon our characters and just try to viciously attack them. And then these little shits actually are smart enough to close the door behind them, trapping them inside. So it was a struggle. They had to get out of there to survive. One of the characters, one of the background characters throughout this entire season, I think his name was like Kine. Yeah, he gets his face eaten off. His hazmat suit, his face shield gets broken off, and then the monsters are able to get into his face. Just gnaw his face away, completely brutally tearing his face off. So they drag them all back through the door, and then we just see the extent of the damage. The dude's face is gone. It is just a hole where his head is. Ooh, that is brutal. And you know what? You know what the boys and Gen V are missing with their very brutal deaths? Any sort of screams in pain. Any deaths that happen in the boys or Gen V, the deaths are instant. They're quick. They're brutal, but instant. Our characters in those shows don't really scream, don't really express any pain. They just die instantly. But whatever. So yeah, Argus is excavating the different dimensions. Later on, we see, oh yeah, also Judo Master is participating, and he's wearing his green suit underneath the hazmat suit for some reason. It's funny, the 2 seasons we've seen of him, he never took his mask off once. But yeah, later on we also see that Judo Master opens up another door, and right on the other side is a freaking black hole. I mean, hey, that's kind of a... that could be useful if you have to throw away some garbage. You just open a door and you just toss it all in. Just be careful not to get yourself sucked in as well. So, that's what Argus is up to. All our characters, though, we see Harcourt and Economos. They're looking around the house while discussing what they're doing, searching for the different doors. They were looking for Eagly. Eagly has been really sad and depressed ever since Peacemaker got arrested again. And we also do see that. We see Chris in jail, and he just doesn't want to leave. He feels like this is where he belongs to be. What? This is where he belongs at. This is where he deserves to be. And not gonna lie, the world would probably be... The world would probably be better off if I was locked up too. Let's put it that way. Anyways, so Our characters try to pay him a visit, but he doesn't want to see any visitors. We see Adebayo visit Adrian in his underground basement, completely filled with drugs and money. We see Adrian go off on his mom again. It's like, damn, he treats his mother really badly. Hilariously enough, Adrian was playing Princess Peach Showtime on his Nintendo Switch. I don't know, I just kind of thought that was hilarious. So, the reason Adebayo wanted to go talk to Adrian was because he has more than enough money in his basement to pay for some sort of defense attorney to get Chris out of jail. But Adrian's like, no, I don't want to use this. This is blood money. You get cursed if you use it. And I'm not gonna lie, Adebayo actually thought of something pretty clever. She's just like, man, I can't believe I'm a better friend to Chris than you. You know, I'd be willing to put a curse upon myself and use this blood money to get my best friend out of jail. Are you? And that motivates him. He uses the blood money to get his best friend out of jail. So, Chris is now free, but he doesn't want to see anyone. Instead, he goes over to Economos' house to pick up Eagly and just go. And then he disappears. So everyone needs to figure out where he is. And we see Chris, he actually just checked into a motel with Eagly. That's pretty much it. So they need to find where Chris is. What do? They need to go to Argus, and they somehow are able to track him. But before that, we also learn about why Rick Flag Sr. is excavating and trying to find what it is he's trying to find through those extra dimensional doorways. He's trying to look for a world that is flourishing, that is capable of human life. Not gonna lie, that sounds a lot like Kane Pixel's Backrooms, where Async wanted to take advantage of the infinite space. Not gonna lie, it sounds a lot like it. So we get this montage of going through different doors, looking at different dimensions. Yeah, other characters die as well. There was a world where a zombie outbreak happened, and then one of our background characters gets bitten and turns. So a couple Argus agents do die, but we do also see Rick Flag Sr. just partying, celebrating. We slowly start to see that Bordeaux kind of isn't feeling him anymore. She kind of doesn't like what he's doing now. Anyway, so they find a habitable world. In reality, all they saw was just one big empty field. But, you know, seems like oxygen levels are breathable, temperatures are sustainable. Pretty uninhabited, at least initially. So they found what they were looking for. So what does Flag do? Well, he goes to what? The UN? The World Committee or whatever? The same meeting room we saw in the Superman movie. And he pitches the idea. This world we will call Salvation. It is a world where we will dump the most dangerous of meta-human criminals. Because our prisons just can't hold them. Arkham, Belle Reve, any sort of superpowered criminal can easily just break out, and they have. So, we send them off to a distant world where they're on their own. And they are no threat to humanity and civilization anymore. Australia 2.0. But yeah, the committee makes a good point. This doesn't really sound like a punishment, you know? They're set free to fend for themselves. But Flag is just like, I don't care about the punishment. As long as they are out of reach of society where they can't do harm anymore, who cares? And Bordeaux really isn't feeling that for some reason. I don't know, I kind of don't see many issues to his plan. Though that's just me. You could say it's inhumane, he's sending lives away, but it's like, he's talking about super-powered criminals. You know? A regular cop with a taser and a pistol won't stop them. And like even he put it, institutions like Belle Reve or Arkham Asylum, they won't hold them. So yeah, Bordeaux, she actually wants to meet up with Amelia to discuss, and then they coincidentally go back to the exact same Big Belly Burger. Bordeaux, she doesn't know what to do, so Amelia suggests, hey, I have a friend you should probably meet. And so she recommends Adebayo and her consulting business. It's barely a business. We see Amelia, while the two of them are talking, she sees the ticket to that night on the boat, and then we really flash back to what happened after. So the band plays, Amelia's feeling the music, she's dancing, she's having fun. Chris, you know, he likes what he sees, so the two of them, they kiss. They kiss for a long time too, but Amelia, she backs up and is just like, I gotta go. Oof. That hurts. Brother to brother, that hurts. And I kind of thought that they were kind of hinting at more happening from that. The entire season they were hinting at something big happened between them. I was kind of imagining something more than just a kiss. You know, I was kind of thinking maybe a kiss led to maybe a one-night stand. But I suppose James Gunn filming his wife kiss John Cena very extensively was already too much. No way he was going to film a sex scene. So we now know the entire season what Chris has been asking of her. Did it mean anything? Did that kiss on the boat mean anything? And the entire season, she just would not answer. So, at that moment, Amelia asks Bordeaux, hey, do you have Peacemaker clearance at Argus? Like, you're able to find him, right?
Good.
So they go to Argus, where Happerson is also working there, and a bunch of other... I think there were also a bunch of goons that Lex employed in the Superman movie, I'm pretty sure. So they need a distraction, because Happerson is able to see what Bordeaux is doing on her monitor, so Economos just does the worst possible job at distracting. Like an absolute horrible job. He says something like, hey, you want to hear a joke? Lobsters can technically live forever, if not for their molting process failing. Because if not for their hard shell, they could live forever. It's just they can't get out of their shells in the molting process when they get too old. So if they kind of die inside their shell, they kind of just suffocate and get crushed inside their own shells. This is not a joke. This is just a fact. We see the post-credit scene where it's just another outtake where Economos tells a horrible joke, but then someone, a lady, actually laughs her ass off at him. Nice. So yeah, Bordeaux, she's able to look up on the monitor and just find where Peacemaker is somehow. Did they have him chipped? How did she just manage to find him? Like, that easily? What, does a Lex Luthor, all those computer monitors have a worldwide human network? Where you just type in someone's name and instantly there's that person. So I don't know how Bordeaux was able to instantly find Peacemaker, but who cares? So they now know where he is. All our friends go to meet him at the motel. Chris tries to avoid them, runs to his truck, but then Adrian, all souped up in vigilante gear, just body slams him and then tasers him to make sure he doesn't get away. So inside the motel they talk, and Chris reveals why he's been acting so strange. And I'm just like, you people really don't know why he's acting strange? Why he's avoiding you guys? Like, come on. Really? You couldn't put 2 and 2 together? You really needed him to lay it all out for you. He feels like he's cursed. Even he said so himself. We know that magic and other crazy stuff is real. He feels like he's cursed because everyone who gets close to him dies. His brother, his father, Rick Flag Jr. So he doesn't want his friends to be close to him anymore because he's afraid that'll get them killed. But a heartwarming speech from Adebayo and Bada Boom, the 11th Street Gang, is back together. So Chris agreed to join up with them again, and they have an idea of something to do. But first, we need to... We have something... We have a tie to break. What? Adebayo has one last connection to sever before she can move on. So she goes back, talks to Kia, and officially ends things with her. That is kind of sad. You know, they had a plan together. They were going to open a pet store together. And just temporarily, Adebayo was going to work for her mother and Argus to make a little bit of money. But then she got roped into the spy espionage life and she started liking it too. So sadly, Leota and Kia just cannot be together. Okay, sad moment over. So now our characters open up a new establishment together. And Bordeaux joined them too. Damn, Bordeaux just left Flag's ass, huh? So we see them setting up an office cubicle kind of place. So we have this new crew. We have our main characters. We have Chris, Amelia, John, not John Cena, John Economos, Leota, Adrian. We also have newcomers, Bordeaux. We also have, for some reason, Flurry and Judo Master. They joined the team. They're all friends now. And what did they start together? They started a company called Checkmate. Now, I believe in the comics, Checkmate was started by Amanda Waller. But yeah, we don't exactly know what Checkmate does in-universe. Not yet. I'm sure we'll hear references in future James Gunn projects. So, everything's looking good. The team is together. They started something new together. Everything is looking good. So, Chris is about to go back into his motel, and then he gets got by Argus. He gets abducted by Argus. And then he gets brought to the compound. Now, come on. You should have known, right? Rick Flag Sr. finding a dystopian, yet habitable, world for superpowered prisoners. You should have known that Peacemaker would have been the first person he threw in there. So he did. He captures Chris, tosses him in, closes the portal behind him, saying, "This is for Ricky, you son of a bitch." And, well, Chris is now stranded on a dystopian, not really dystopian, a sustainable world that we thought was uninhabited, but then Chris, being alone with nothing to defend himself, he hears creatures cry from the distance. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, during the sequence where they were setting up their office, we also see a brand new band perform at the exact same boat. And it's the theme song. I don't know what the theme song's name is, and is it bad if this whole time I thought the theme song was sung by a woman? No, it's a guy with a very high-pitched voice. So yeah, we see Chris and Amelia go back to that concert and actually embrace everything good this time, so good for them. But yeah, the ending is pretty I don't want to say disappointing. Kind of, especially because we know that we're probably not getting a season 3. And if we are, not for a very long time. So, the ending was kind of just unsatisfying, I guess. Chris is now stranded in a different world. All our characters don't know what happened to him. And Rick Flag Sr. kind of became a villain and won. He's been twisted for vengeance. He's working with Lex Luthor, of all people now. Anyways, it's just being more set up for other projects. Now, funny you bring that up. It was stated that the ending of Peacemaker Season 2 does set up the Superman sequel, where Brainiac will be the main villain. I kind of wonder how it's a setup. Because, if I'm not mistaken, Planet Salvation, isn't that owned by Darkseid? And it clearly doesn't seem like James Gunn is setting up Darkseid. So I think he's just taking the name and kind of the concept of Planet Salvation and just going with it. He took the concept and name of Ultraman, didn't he? But that was not Ultraman from the Crime Syndicate. So yeah, I kind of don't see how this is setting up for future projects, but we'll have to wait and see. By the way, did you guys hear news about more of the Snyderverse returning stuff? Now, I don't know if this is official or not, but there were quotes online that even James Gunn is unsure of his future at DC. I don't know how official that is, but damn, I find that kind of sad. While so far, based on everything I've seen, I would much prefer Snyder's work over James Gunn work, based on what I've seen so far. However, that doesn't mean I dislike James Gunn's projects. I want to see his vision play out too. I want to see both visions play out. And I don't want James Gunn to be thrown out of DC, especially since he's been the head of DC for not that long. And he hasn't really done too much since being, the head of DC. He's done 3 projects. He has done Creature Commandos, Superman, and James Gunn and Peacemaker Season 2. So all I want is for Snyder to return and do his last 2 Justice League movies, and that's it. That's it. Just finish his 5-movie arc, and let that just be it. At the same time, just let James Gunn do his thing. Anyway, so there you go. Peacemaker Season 2. What are my thoughts overall for the season? It was okay. It wasn't as good as Season 1. It didn't capture the magic that Season 1 had. Season 2, the story was a little off. It wasn't as clean and straightforward as Season 1's was. There's also a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of, loose ends. Because, well, in the other world, Keith lost his brother and father, and, well, we don't really follow up with that. He's kind of just attacked, thrown in an ambulance, and, well, that's all we get from him. We also don't follow up with that world's Amelia Harcourt. Peacemaker just broke up with her, and that's the last we see of her. She got wooed back by him, and then he just broke up with her, and that's it. That's it. We don't see anything left from her. We don't see the heartbreak. We don't see anything. She's just not in the show anymore. We also don't see the aftermath, is Doppelganger Vigilante still alive? Unknown. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about him. Focus on your vigilante. I definitely prefer Season 1 over Season 2. Let's just hope Season 3 happens. Alright, let me take a drink of water real quick, and then we'll talk about another finale that kind of didn't live up to the hype. Okay, Gen V Season 2 finale. We open up with a continuation flashback to, I think it was 1967, where it follows up with the flashback we had at the beginning of the season, where Thomas Godolkin was in that explosion. Now we follow up with that. He didn't die in that explosion. He was knocked unconscious. He woke up, he found a vial of the very cloudy Compound V, injected himself, and then he was burned. I kind of feel like they didn't need to separate the one scene into two. One at the beginning of the season and the other at the end, but whatever. I feel like they could have put that in the episode right after it was revealed that burnt body was Godolkin. Whatever. So cut back to present day, we see our characters actually tending to who used to be Cypher. What did he say his name was? Greg? So, he's injured during the fight, and supposedly Godolkin has been controlling him for like 30 years. What did he say? He started getting controlled in like 1996? So, nearly 30 years of being a puppet? Oof, that is rough. So, yeah, taking him to a hospital won't work. Marie healing him won't work because she used up all her strength to heal Godolkin's body. So, Polarity, he has connection, so he drives Greg to his people to heal him. So we see Thomas Godolkin enjoying life again, drinking wine, eating food, having sex with Sage. So, Sage did know, somehow. Sage somehow knew about Thomas Godolkin being still alive and controlling quote-unquote Cypher. So, that scene prior where Sage and Cypher were smashing right in front of his burnt body, the layers just get worse. He was watching through his own body while feeling through another body. It's like, how many messed up layers can you put in a scene? The implications just get worse. So, yeah, Sage and Godolkin, they have a plan together. They have some sort of plan. Now that every single domino effect that Sage predicted did happen. Everything she predicted that led to Marie healing Godolkin's body actually happened. But now they need to move forward. They need to think, how can we introduce you, Thomas Godolkin, to Homelander? That's not going to be easy. Godolkin's just like, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out after class. Like, what? What class? So Godolkin broadcasts himself to the whole school, like, starting now, there will be no ranking systems. Everyone will start at 0. Everyone will get an invite to a brand new seminar of mine. You're all welcome to join. So everyone has a clean slate. Anyone can rank up high, get all of the benefits of being ranked high, and has a higher chance to join the 7. Pretty enticing, no? But our characters, they know better. They know it's a trap. So they try to go and warn a couple of characters not to go to that seminar. Also, Marie, she forgives Kate and actually heals her powers. Okay. I can understand the distrust with Kate, but I can also understand trusting her again, if that makes sense. Like, throughout the season, she hasn't really shown any ill intent anymore. So I think she's re-earned our trust. I think she re-earned our trust long ago, but whatever. It's different if you were in person, I suppose, and her actions sent you to a godforsaken place like Elmira. But yeah, Marie healed Kate's powers, so she has full access again. She only has one arm still, but never mind that. I wonder if she... You know, they didn't actually touch on this. She healed Kate's powers, but did she heal her skull, her stitches? Because she definitely has the powers to do that. Because Kate is wearing a wig, you know? She has a big X on her head with a bunch of staples. Did Marie heal that as well? I mean, even if it is healed, Kate still has a big bald spot, which she needs to cover up with a wig for a while. But still, we don't know if she healed that part. So anyways, our characters, they split up and try to solve this. So Emma and Sam, they go back to the frat house where they're trying to warn Rufus and the other guy, the guy whose power is squeezing people out of his cheeks. But Rufus doesn't listen, of course. So he roofies the two of them. They wake up to all of the frat clones or whatever doing Pilates, I don't know. And they also wake up to dicks drawn on their faces. So that dude whose power is cheeks, yeah, it turns out he drew it on them. So our characters, they figure out Godolkin's plan. Lure in the students, that sounds bad. Lure in the students and pretty much make them fight to the death. Just to lure in Marie to stop them. Because Godolkin's plan... Godolkin's plan. Get to that in a moment. So we see one seminar take place where he did what Cypher did. Which makes sense, he was Cypher. He's just like, all of you have wasted your potential, squandered the powers you were gifted with. You know, you squandered it for sex, for money, for likes. You will earn your place at the school. And here's the test. I will go and push that button. Your job is to stop me by any means necessary. And so he controls, like, I don't know, 8 people at once. And then we also see his skin start to bubble up and burn because of how much he's pushing himself. That didn't lead anywhere in the episode, by the way. We see his healed body revert back slowly, and that led to nothing. That was absolutely pointless in the episode. So, he controls all of them. None of them are able to stop him from pushing the button, but he doesn't kill them. Not yet. Why? I don't frickin' know. I don't know. He talks with Sage. Even Sage is questioning what he's doing. This wasn't part of their plan. And Godolkin reveals why he's doing this. Not only to cull the herd, he also wants to make himself stronger. Because earlier in the episode, they questioned, why didn't he just control Marie? And then it's revealed because Marie is too strong. She's too strong for him to control. So, Thomas's plan, get strong enough to control Marie. If he can control one Odessa baby, he can control the other. He could control Homelander. And so Sage isn't feeling it anymore. The two of them had a plan, but he's going off course. We see Polarity and Greg, I think that was his name, driving. He's just like, you should have seen Andre. You would have been proud of him. He was the best person, the best kid I ever knew. Well, it was a really nice discussion between quote-unquote enemies. You know, Polarity associates that face with an enemy. So Polarity even asks, do you have any family, friends you could contact? And he's like, no. Hey, do you want to help take care of someone you haven't seen in 30 years? Yeah, that's not a great selling point. And then Cypher, you know, he's no longer Cypher. Greg goes like he's tortured people. But it wasn't him, it was Godolkin controlling him. But it felt like him. Anyway, so the car gets attacked. A blade goes through the roof of the car right into Greg. A gas grenade goes into the car too, and it's revealed Black Noir attacked the car. Later we see that Black Noir is in the holding cell with Polarity, and he's talking about, I think, the Alien franchise. I don't know, that's pretty hilarious. Sage comes in, tell him to get the fuck out. And then Sage reveals that, you know, what's the point anymore? It all ends the same. So she leaves with a really sad look on her face. I don't know if she intentionally didn't lock the door or not. It makes you think she did it intentionally. But Polarity gets out. He notices the door's open and he just leaves. So, during the first seminar with Godolkin, one person leaves, one person runs for his life. He phases through the wall, but his clothes get left behind. So there's just this naked fat guy running down the school campus with a flag covering up his junk. Marie asks him what happened. He's just like, oh man, he's crazy. He's making all the students kill each other in the conference room, not conference room, like in that room. So they know where to go. They know where he is. Marie looks back at Jordan and she's just like, I know you're mad at me for leaving you twice. Jordan says it's okay. But then she breaks up with her. Jordan says, we can't be together because I don't want to spend my time hating you. But she agrees to still just be friends with Marie. It's like, damn. Kind of sucks. We didn't really get to see too much of Marie and Jordan. Hell, if anything, we actually saw more of Marie with female Jordan than with male Jordan. Just because, God forbid, anyone be straight anymore these days. I can't even say that, because Emma, well, she's pretty straight in the show. So all our characters come together. And they have a plan. They have a plan. So Kate controls the guard who just let in the next class. And she's like, I have one more student to let into the class. Marie goes in. But they have a plan. One of the people who was in the second batch of students was the dude with the butt cheeks powers. So he just lets out everyone who was up his ass. Literally, everyone. I don't know if he shrinks the characters to go into his colon or if his butt is the portal to like a pocket dimension. But he does struggle to let them back out. So that's the plan. All our characters sneak into the class to ambush Godolkin. His ass is Kirby. Would you believe I was thinking that, but I didn't mention it? I was actually thinking that. So, their plan was to sneak into the class with everyone and ambush Godolkin. Not gonna lie, not a great plan. Because then Godolkin, for some reason, controls all the students that are not main characters to fight off our main characters, and it's just like, why didn't he just control everyone? Whatever. All our characters fight off the students while Marie goes straight for Godolkin. And yes, all our characters win against the other students that nobody cares about. So Marie, she kind of has the grip against Godolkin, is just like, you've lost. And then she just uses her force powers to levitate him, about to like maybe snap him in half, explode him like she did the goat earlier, the goat named Elon. But then, pretty coincidentally, right at that spot, Godolkin just became powerful enough to control Marie, so he does. So he uses Marie's powers to pretty much amplify gravity and make them all stuck on the ground. Well, before Godolkin did anything to them, you know, he was having a villain monologue in front of them, Polarity shows up. He busts through the doors, and we already know that Godolkin powers don't affect Polarity. So then he just uses his Polarity powers to lift up heavy things, throw them at Godolkin, and that stops him. To where Marie gets control of her body back, she walks up to Godolkin, and she explodes his head Victoria Newman style. And I'm just thinking, why didn't he just control all our characters to fight Polarity? We saw him do just that one episode ago when he was still controlling Cypher. Why didn't he just control the half a dozen characters in the room to fight Polarity again? The same room, the same characters. Why didn't he just do that again? There was literally a line in this episode too. He himself said, I've never controlled more than 2 at a time before. And then we see in this episode, he controlled like 8 people at once. So like, why didn't he just control everyone to fight Polarity? Excuse me? Like, he could have just got control of Marie again and control of everyone, and they would have easily bodied Polarity, but no, he just kind of cowered in fear, and then Marie just popped him. What? Why didn't he just control everyone again? I don't know. So, Godolkin is dead. I'll talk more about that in a second. Godolkin is dead, so they need to leave. Vought is on the way. They need someone to pin the blame. Someone to pin the blame on this time, and they don't have a human dean or whatever. They don't have a dean to pin this on. So someone needs to stay back and take the fall. So Polarity volunteers to stay back. Our characters, they leave. They drive off until it's nighttime. They stop for a quick piss break. And then Annie shows up. Starlight shows up and recruits them to join the Resistance. And then for some reason, A-Train shows up too. Okay, I guess Annie is now just buddy-buddy with A-Train. And when A-Train in The Boys Season 4 ran for his life, he's back now. Alright, he's back. I assume A-Train is more than fast enough to run on water. He could run to a different continent if he wanted to. It'll take like, maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes of running for him. So like, okay. A-Train's back. So I guess that confirms he's going to be in Season 5. I kind of wasn't sure if he would be in Season 5. Queen Maeve wasn't in Season 4, now was she? And that's pretty much where the episode ends. So all our characters get recruited by not only Annie, but also A-Train to join the Resistance. So it makes me wonder, are these characters going to be big players in Season 5? And also, we don't know what Kate did to Frenchie. We don't know. Kate just made Frenchie walk into a van, and then Sam was holding back Kimiko. We don't know what happened to the two of them. And it was never touched on in this season. There was a brief reference, but it was never actually explained. Now, there's the episode. Let me discuss Godolkin. Because after watching this episode, I kind of felt like it wasted my time. All this build-up for Thomas Godolkin, all the setup, not gonna lie, the setup was pretty great. All these plot twists with that being Cypher's father at first, but then it was Cypher holding Godolkin hostage, and then it was Godolkin controlling Cypher the whole time. I gotta say, the build-up was quite good. The plot twists were pretty good. But then they hyped up Godolkin as this, like, god-tier threat unleashed upon the Earth once again, and then he's immediately killed off. It's like, what a waste of my time. We didn't even see him meet Homelander, which, when Godolkin broadcasted himself to the school, even Sage was like, oh shit. Well, there goes introducing you to Homelander on our terms. Now Homelander's gonna see your broadcast and be like, what the fuck? Thomas Godolkin is alive? We even saw Homelander try to call Sage, but then she sent him straight to voicemail. So, like, what a waste of my time. All that setup for nothing. I kind of thought Godolkin may have been a major threat in Season 5. Nope! Immediately killed off. Waste of my goddamn time. The season itself was okay, but the ending just sucked. The ending, nah. All that build-up for nothing. And now Sage's plans are ruined as well. She had a plan with Godolkin. We only can guess how long she was scheming with Godolkin, too. Was she scheming with him even before Homelander paid her a visit and recruited her into the Seven? You know, I'm not gonna lie. Watching this season, given the small handful of connections, I kind of forgot I was even watching a show connected to the boys. So when Black Noir showed up, I was like, oh yeah! Yeah, right, him! So, and I also didn't expect A-Train to show up. It's like, oh, he's kind of out of place. You know, we're so used to seeing our Gen V cast of characters, like, oh, A-Train interacting with them? That's cool, it just doesn't feel right. He feels like he doesn't belong here. He feels like he's in the wrong show with the wrong characters, but whatever. And you know, I gotta say, I do like when shows and continuities do this, where it's probably best if you watch them in the proper order. Because if not, you won't know what happened. You won't understand all of the tie-ins. Like, did you really need to watch Season 1 of Gen V to understand Season 4 of The Boys? Not entirely, but if you did watch it, then you would understand everything. And to them, like, to the people who say, I don't watch the spin-offs, I just watch the main show, well, fuck them. You don't want to know the whole story, you don't want to understand everything that happened, that's your problem. Me, on the other hand, I'm gonna watch everything and enjoy understanding all of the references. Well, there was no Homelander cameo this time. Instead, we got A-Train. Which, okay. Alright, we gotta get moving on, because we got 2 more shows to go over. So now we patiently wait for Season 5 of Season 5 of The Boys. The final season, too. I swear, if this is how Season 5 ends, it will piss off a lot of people. If Homelander, you know, a symbol of America, a man dressed in the red, white, and blue, a person who kind of represents patriotism. If Homelander gets taken down, defeated, killed by Marie, a strong, independent, black woman, oh, you know how much that'll set the internet on fire? Regardless of the amount of buildup. If Marie does the killing blow to Homelander, I can see the internet not liking that. Okay, let's move on to the next show. So now we have Shit, Welcome to Derry. I'm joking, this show is excellent. Alright, so we have Welcome to Derry, episode 5. Ooh, I've been waiting for this episode. I have been waiting, and it did not disappoint. For the most part. So we follow up with the last episode after Halloran kind of just screwed with Daniel's mind. So now they know the location of where the pillars are. It's underneath the house. That haunted house on, like, what was it, Neubat Street? I forgot what the street was called. So next morning, they plan to have the military raid that house, go down into the sewers, and find the pillars. Find it. But Hanlon wants a clear answer. What the hell just happened? What are we going to find now? So Francis just straight up tells him. So, the Indians are a part of this, like, group dedicated to keeping something locked here. Something trapped here. Something that fell to Earth a very long time ago. And they buried, what, 13 relics to keep this thing entrapped in this area, which now is present-day Derry. So, that's not sounding very good for Hanlon, since he just moved his family here. So he's just like, so, you don't just want to find it, you want to capture it. You want to make the cage, you want to make the perimeter smaller. Yo, can you imagine? I love that they're actually going down this line, this storyline. The fact that the military is trying to capture and control Pennywise. How stupid is that? You know, watching these sort of content, we always think, what if the government tried to capture this thing? What if the government tried to control it? Well, we're actually seeing that. For once, we're actually seeing that happen. It's always like, what if the authorities tried to capture this supernatural being and control it? But it never actually happens. Now it actually is happening. So, Hanlon, finding out this news, has to go and tell his wife, yeah. Sadly, the discussion happened off-screen. But he's just like, baby, I'm about to tell you something, and no matter how crazy it sounds, you just have to believe me. So he tells her, and they move, temporarily. They move to the military base, which is far enough outside of town where it cannot reach them. Okay, smart. And they will stay there until the operation is over with. So we see Lily in the, I guess, the hospital, getting her eye bandaged. Did I say Lily? Marge gets her eye bandage, and Lily shows up to be with her. The two of them make up. They are best friends again, and now Marge knows about this thing terrorizing them. So they actually meet up at their little hideout overlooking the town. And, well, this whole time, just off screen, there's a little tent up there. And inside the tent was a little bit of noise being made. And out comes Maddie. Maddie's alive. He's pale. His hair is longer. His voice sounds a little bit deeper. I guess filming, there was a big gap between when the actor had to film. But Maddie is alive! And he reveals where he's been this whole time. He's been in the sewers where the clown trapped him. Lily asks about the others. What about Susie? What about Ted and Phil? Well, Maddie explains in pretty horrific detail that I think he said for Teddy, the clown ate his brains right in front of me. And for Susie, she was missing an arm. And the clown just left her down in the sewers, crying, bleeding out, until she just stopped bleeding. Or no, just stopped. But then he reveals that Phil is alive down there. Phil is alive. He doesn't talk or move anymore, but somehow he's alive. They question how. How did Maddie even survive and escape? And he's just like the clown. Kept some of us alive. He sleeps during the day, which is absolute bullshit. And then he hunts and eats at night. And he keeps some of them alive, almost like he needs to feed off of fear. So they want to take, or rather Ronnie wants Maddie to go to the police and be like, telling them the truth. Tell them that Maddie was trapped in the sewers this whole time. And tell them that Phil is alive down there. So her father, Ronnie's father Hank, didn't kill the kids. But Ronnie, he doesn't, what? But Maddie, he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to go to the police because then they'll just send him back to his father. And he already ran away from his father, which is what we saw at the beginning of the season. And he won't go back to his father. He would sooner go back to the sewers than go back to his father. Speaking of Ronnie's father, we do see Hank be thrown into a bus where he's going to be taken to Shawshank Prison. Some more Stephen King names, huh? Well, it seems like the father to Teddy and Susie ran up and almost shot him in the face. Almost like that scene in The Dictator, where the body double gets shot in the head instead of Aladdin himself. Charlotte is there watching, an innocent man be thrown into a prison bus. But then she sees one of the guards standing behind the door with a huge smile on his face. And then, of course, disappears when someone walks by the camera. Oh yeah, that was before Hanlon told them, and they moved. Lily, she doesn't really know what to do. So she goes and talks to her friend, her doctor friend from Juniper Hill Institute, or Juniper Hill Asylum. It was, what's her name, Mrs. Kirsch? Where we also see her husband, Mr. Kirsch, and he is looking like an abusive husband. He's just like, where's my steak, woman? Oh, it's almost done. I'll give it to you in a minute. Don't overcook it again like you did last time. So, Lily goes to consult Mrs. Kirsch, where, she almost wants to take it upon her own hands to report Maddie to the police. Like, reveal that he's alive. But Lily's just like, no, please. He's already been through enough. Like, if he won't go to the police and the police won't help rescue Phil, who was stuck in the sewers. Lily, no! You mustn't! Promise me you won't go to the sewers yourself to save that boy. Promise me! So she promises, but we know damn well that promise was a lie. So Lily goes back to the hideout, where also Marge shows up too. Ronnie's not a huge fan of her being an ex-patty cake, but whatever, she's part of the group now, because it came after her too. So Lily has this whole speech to convince them. Are you a lifeboat or are you an anchor? So they all agree to go down to the sewers and try to find Phil themselves, with Maddie leading the way. Damn, girl grew some balls too, because she was just like, we're all going down, and Maddie's going to guide us. What? No, I don't want to go back down there. It was horrible. Well, you said yourself you would rather go back down to the sewers than go back to your father. And if you don't guide us through those sewers, we're going to drag you to the police right now. Damn, girl grew some balls. So they all agree to go down to the sewers and try to find Phil. And Will shows up too. Because remember, Will got relocated to the military base, but he kind of just snuck off base to go back with his friends. So we now have our makeshift kind of losers club going down to the sewers to investigate. But before that, so we see the group of Indians. They are talking about it, and even they know themselves about the 27 gap of peace. They also know that the cycle is ending soon. So there's almost going to be this one last big feast of Pennywise before he hibernates again for 27 years. So even they know that the cycle is almost over, and they're aware of the 27 years it takes for it to show up again. So, Rose hears about Daniel being captured by the military, so she goes and talks to Francis, where Francis reveals exactly what his plan is. Ever since coming back to Derry, he's gotten all his memories back. Except that was a lie. He was given some sort of drugs to calm down or whatever, so all the memories came rushing back. So he remembered everything. And because he remembered everything, he's just like, Eureka! I have been... I know the answer to stopping this Cold War. It! The creature! We can weaponize it! And Rose is just like, you cannot control it. But I can't stop you, so I'm gonna help you instead. You'll need this! And we see Rose open her safe and pull out a really nicely wrapped shard of the pillars. She has a shard herself. Now, I'm sure in real life, like in reality, that thing is just a big piece of obsidian that they created for the show as a prop. Really nice set prop, too. Looks really nice, the obsidian. So she goes and talks to Daniel and gives him the shard. Because the military's not about to let Daniel out of his sight. So, Rose knows that shard is kind of like a good luck charm. It'll ward off the evil spirit that is it. So she hands it to Daniel and tells him, don't leave it out of your sight. Don't lose it. It'll protect you. Charlotte, back at the military base, she hears on the TV that the prison bus transporting Hank was attacked. And it seems like prisoner Hank Gargan escaped. So we don't know where he is. In other news... Huh? Oh yeah, so when's CSM then? Where's what now? So in other news, this street has been closed off due to quote-unquote gas leaks. More news on that later. But we know in reality that street was closed off so that the military can raid the haunted house peacefully. Chainsaw Man? Perhaps next time. Perhaps. So yeah, they bust through the door. It's the same haunted house we saw in the It movies. They bust through the door, they go down, they find the well, and they descend down to the sewers. As they're walking, things start to happen. We see It toy with them. So we see two soldiers get separated, and then they see in the distance, in the dark distance, a hand pops out, but it's not Pennywise's hand. It's a monster version of Uncle Sam saying, I want you! And then presumably the two military guys, well, they dead. They get taken by It. So there's a pretty big jump in the sewers, and when Halloran jumps down, he gets teleported elsewhere. He gets teleported to his childhood home where he sees not only his grandmother, but his grandfather too. And we learned that his grandfather was not a nice person. Halloran has this little, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 locked up box. And his grandfather wants to open it. You know, pulling out his piece, shooting his grandmother to make him open it. And then, when the box is open, not only is it glowing as if it was the Ark of the Covenant, it also makes Halloran, hear a ton of voices, like he just opened the box that released the 7 deadly sins. Pandora's box. So, yeah, Halloran had a dream with his grandparents, and that box, we don't know what's exactly inside just yet. So our military characters in the sewers do get separated to where Hanlon and his friend Polly, I forgot his name this whole time, they actually run into Charlotte down in the sewers. But only Hanlon can see her. Only Hanlon can see his wife. Polly can't see Charlotte, so he's just like, what are you talking about? There's no one there. Obviously, we know it's It playing tricks with them. So Hanlon, after being convinced it's not real, he shoots what he believes was his wife. For a moment, he thought he really killed his wife. But then his wife smiles back at him after having a bullet wound to the head, goes down and just swims away. So now they know. Now they know for certain. If you see anything down here, shoot it. Whether that be your first girlfriend, your gym teacher, whatever's not meant to be down here, you shoot it. That's not a good sign. So our kid characters, they go down into the sewers. They take more of Lily's mom's pills, which is not a good idea. You know, they took 3. Each of them took 3 so that they can be buzzed out and they can't feel fear. And I can't help but realize, or I can't help but notice that didn't last very long. Each of them took 3 pills. while they were walking down the sewers, they were high as hell, but then it just ended. They tripped out very quickly. Rich finally got to hold the hand of his crush, so, yeah, that's a huge W for young boys. I'm sure we all had that feeling back then, too. Of course, that never was the case for me. So, Maddie led them to as far as he could. Maddie led them to where he remembers the clown was, as well as where Phil was being kept. But then, when he got there, oh no, dead bodies everywhere. That's the dead body of Susie. That's the dead body of Teddy. That's Phil. He's already dead. And that dead body there, that's Maddie. So if Maddie's been dead, who have we been following this whole time? Fake Maddie dances around a pole, not like that, sings a very creepy song, and then he slowly turns into Pennywise. We finally see Pennywise. 5 episodes in, we finally get to see Pennywise the clown, and it was wonderful. He had light shining from behind him as if he was glowing too, like it's such a big reveal. Pennywise, finally. He's glowing, he's so amazing, it's blinding. So we see Pennywise finally, and he chases after the kids. They run for their lives, but Lily trips, because of course she does. So she gets separated. Oh yeah, also Taniel was walking down in the sewers with the military. One military guy was left with him. So Taniel made a run for it for some reason. The military guy shot at him several times, missing every shot. So while Taniel was running, he dropped the shard. He dropped the shard of the pillar. So now Taniel is trapped in the sewers without protection. Uh-oh. We don't follow up with him again in this episode. So our kids are running. They're running for the exit. Hanlon and Polly, they hear screams. And then they see Will show up. Hanlon sees his son run up, but he's not going to be tricked again. But this time, Polly sees him too, so he knows it's real. Hanlon is about to shoot his son, so Polly literally takes a bullet for him to save Will. But then that bullet ends up killing Polly. You know, Hanlon's best friend, his brother in arms. So, now they all escape. The kids all get out of the sewers. Hanlon carries Polly's body out of the sewers. They all get out. But Lily, she gets separated. She gets into a corner. Kind of like, what was his name? Patrick did in the It movie. Pennywise teases her as like, you led them all to me because you're such a good friend. But such a bad daughter. Taking the form of Lily's pickle-fied father. So Pennywise creates his monster face and runs up to Lily about to kill her, about to eat her. But then he stops because that shard is right between them. And Pennywise, he can't get near that shard. So, for now, he has to retreat and just leave Lily be. So Lily got super lucky and survives. Yeah. And presumably, she makes it out. Of course she's going to make it out. So the end of the episode, you know, Hanlon is back at the military base giving his story on what happened. So he kind of has to lie. He can't say that his son was also in the sewers, like his son for real. So he just tells a white lie about how Polly died. Francis comes in, comforts him, is about to leave, but then Hanlon asks, any word from Halloran? Did he even make it out? He hasn't reported back to base yet, but if anyone's going to make it out of those sewers, it's going to be Dick Halloran. Then we see Halloran does escape. A little bit dazed, but he did escape alive. But then he sees the walking body, the walking corpse of Paulie Russo. And even Halloran doesn't understand. Because he shouldn't know that Paulie is dead. And then the final shot of the episode, I'm pretty sure, we see the opened box that was in Halloran's hallucination. It's glowing, and we don't see what's inside just yet. Pretty good episode! We finally got to see Pennywise at long last. Alright. I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. You know, my brother-in-law took a dump in my toilet earlier tonight. He usually shares my sister's toilet with her, but she was on the toilet when he came over, so he went and used my toilet. Well, it is what it is. I don't very much like it, but whatever. Alright, I'm gonna go use the bathroom real quick. Ugh. Give me a sec, I'll talk about Has Been in a moment. Alright, let's talk about Has Been Hotel real quick. This is episode 7 of season 2. The second... I'm pretty sure the second last episode. So we open up with Lucifer walking into Vox's trap. And amazingly, he's unaware. Like, how can you not pick up it's a trap? So Vox traps him in a little container made out of angelic metal, so he can't just break out of it. So now he has the radio demon and the king of hell. So he kind of just took over hell as the ruler. And then we have this song where we see Vox's backstory. So we see human Vox, we see Vincent and what he looks like. He actually has 2 different colored eyes. And we see that throughout his song that he was quite the killer when he was alive. He always competed for like the most top spot, the most famous spot on television. To where if someone were more popular than him, he'd kill them and then take over his spot. And then we saw the way Vox died. A television dropped onto his head, electrocuting him to death. Oh, yes! My heart skipped a beat when that when that showed up. It finally is here! Okay, you know what to do. Take off the rubber band. Look at long last. Shiny Giratina. Do you have any idea how long this took? Okay, it's been so long, I don't even know what to do anymore. Skill swap. Trick. Okay, now switch to Blissey, who I didn't heal up, actually. Okay, first I'm going to Thunder Wave. And then I'm pretty sure, as long as I don't land a crit, Psychic doesn't do too much. Okay, I am not going to attack anymore. I'm not risking it. So, throw down a Roto Catch. Do you have any idea how long this took? Oh, imagine if we caught it first ball. Well, I kind of can't do anything right now, so throw a Pokeball at nothing. Oh, it won't even let me. Here, do a soft boiled. Dropped the stylus. That's okay, because we finally got shiny Giratina to show up. Caught its second Pokeball. Why did the music kind of match perfectly when the ball was shaking? God, I hope I have the right date on this. No, it's not. Well, first of all, you can see just how long it's been since Heatran. No, I didn't change the time thanks to daylight saving. So my 3DS is past midnight right now. It's November 24th, but because I didn't change the time, it says 25th. You know what? At this point, I don't care. It's not a big time difference like Dialga had. So fine, I'll take it. Whatever. Shiny Giratina at long last. You see just how long it's been since Shiny Heatran happened. Save the game immediately. Yes! I almost don't remember how to play this game anymore. I've been at Giratina for so long. I just texted no shame in feeding. You missed it. You fucking missed it. Look, remember these guys? Given how long it's been? Oh, never mind, Regigigas. Regigigas was the one before this. Let's see how long it's been. It's been almost 4 months. It's been almost 4 months since Shiny Regigigas. Oh. There you go! We finally got it! 4 more shinies to get. And if each of them takes 4 months, then I won't be done with this for the next year. I mean, there's no way any of the next 4 remaining each takes 4 months, right? Right? There's no way, right? Surely something else can't take 4 months to get, right? Well, before I go, I should at least finish the episode, since next time we'll have the finale to talk about. So like I said, we saw how Vox died, a TV fell on his head, and he got electrocuted. Alistair actually taunts him that, you know, he is kind of pathetic. All his power, now that he kind of controls Hell, all his power came from others. Without the backing of others, he would have nothing right now. And Vox is just like, I'll prove it to you. Alistair also incites him to contact Charlie. Because Vox is just like, oh, having the princess's blessing on me doing this stuff. There would be no better way to get people by my side. The rest of the overlords. So as Charlie is trying to contact her father, but can't. Which I also questioned from the last episode. How did Vox contact Lucifer under Charlie's caller ID? Well, I suppose Vox is a digital manipulator. He can manipulate screens, so I guess he could just manipulate the phone to say call from Charlie. I don't know. It's not like he had Charlie's phone in his hand calling Lucifer. So he calls Charlie to tell her that, hey, you should come by tomorrow to see what I have to show. Your father will be there too. Does not clarify if he captured her father or not. So on the news broadcast, we actually see that Angel Dust is speaking out to the crowd and saying, hey, I was the first guest at that hotel, and it sucked. Redemption is impossible. Support the V's. To where then Vox brings out his Mega Zygarde cannon. He brings out his giant super weapon built by Carmilla Carmine. It almost seems like it's powered by Lucifer, though I'm not too sure. Lucifer might just be underground directly where the cannon is, not necessarily inside the cannon. And Lucifer's imprisonment also hurts him too, electrifies him. So the cannon shoots a mega laser piss straight to heaven, clean through heaven, breaks down the shield around heaven, actually destroys the heaven gates to where it falls down to hell. So the first attack has been fired on heaven. And Vox is able to hijack heaven's broadcast, where he basically said, you have 24 hours to surrender heaven to me, or you will face extermination. Now, the citizens of heaven don't know about hell's extermination. They don't know about that stuff. So, to them, this is the first time, unprompted too, that hell is attacking. So the council in heaven are kind of going crazy. Where Sarah, she just can't take it anymore. She has to go and pray. So Penchus goes and tries to comfort her, and then the two of them sing a song, which, hey, this episode actually has 3 songs instead of 2. During the song between Penchus and Sarah, there was a reprise for It Starts With Sorry. I love it. This show actually does reprises very excellently. The final song in this episode is a huge reprise as well. So Sarah now knows what she needs to do. First, she goes and tells Lute to rally up the troops. Lute is super happy, but then gets disappointed when she gets told, just as standby. Because, Emily, we want you to use the remaining time we have to try to resolve this peacefully and call off the war. So, Emily goes down to Hell, to the Has-Been Hotel, and talks to Charlie about this. Where, they now have a plan to try to stop Vox. If they're able to broadcast to all of Hell and convey a message, I forget what the message is, they could stop Vox, but how could they do that? They also need to broadcast to Heaven too, I think. And, well, Baxter is just like, oh yeah, I can do that. I've developed a lot of Hell's broadcasting technology to where we actually were piggybacking off of some of Heaven's TV channels as well. And Earth's. I don't know, I think that's kind of funny. The fact that Hell is not only watching Heaven TV, but also Earth TV. The TV shows on Earth are being watched by demons and sinners in Hell. I don't know, I find that kind of funny. That doesn't make sense either, since Heaven, Hell, Earth, they're different realms, not just distances. But whatever. They also need someone on the Heaven side to invent and create a stable connection that will connect with Hell's. And, well, luckily Penchus is on the Heaven side as well. So they have their plan. And, well, the final song of the episode, When I Think About the Future. Everyone chimes into this song. Everyone has a singing part. All our characters at the hotel. Vox and Alistair sing as well. Valentino and Velvet. Lucifer, and my favorite part, the portion that is between Lute and Abel, where it is just a gravity reprise. It sounded great. And to close it off, Sarah, she sings, hoping that the next coming days won't be their last. And I wonder, well, I kind of wonder, is there anything I missed from this episode? For the most part, that's it. Anyway, so I finally got Shiny Giratina. I'll see you guys next time for Cresselia. Alright, see you guys next time.